From the campus lights to the game day fight, Texas dust on the boots, packed out stands in the sun. Every school has a story, every season has one. Turn it up, lean in close, hear that crowd start to roll. The Cory Hogue Sports Show, the Cory Hogue Sports Show. Big stories and real conversations, bring the truth, let it roll. The Cory Hogue Sports Show, the Cory Hogue Sports Show. For the schools beyond the spotlight, where the heart of the game still shows.
This is the Cory Hogue Sports Show. If you can hear me, I'm not exactly sure you can. If you cannot, let me know. Make a comment. If you can hear me, welcome. This is starting wonderful. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Substack, leave a comment, get them in. If you can't hear me, let me know, and we can just start this whole thing over again. Obviously, a little delayed on the start time, and it didn't quite even start the way I thought it would. So here we are. It's Friday. What are you going to do? You're going to earn the victory. May not start right. It's how you respond, right? That's what matters. We talk about it all the time. Show didn't start right. Let's make it a good show anyway. That's a proper response. Speaking of that, yesterday I was in Bullard, Texas, Eagles Bluff Country Club for the Southwestern Junior College Football Conference Media Day. Want to say first off a big thank you to everyone. Tyler Junior College putting it on, to Michael Landers for the invitation, all the coaches, seeing everyone. It was fantastic. I'll get into some thoughts on that here in a minute, but there is a line from Cisco head football coach Charlie Rizzio that I wanted to talk about in the Earn Philosophy segment to start the show. This is about 48 seconds. Let's listen to what he had to say, and then we will discuss.
Lane Kiffin said this, and I was a little bugged about it because I was going to say it, but I don't care. I'll say it anyways. One of the things that we preach to our kids is comparison is the thief of joy. And if we, myself included, if I try to compare myself, right, to another coach in this conference, or if our players try to compare themselves to other players in this conference, it's going to take away from the positive and the growth and the development that we do actually have the ability to do while we're in Cisco. I mean, the dang field's still 100 yards long, and if the bad guys, from my perspective as a defensive coach, if they get across the goal line, it's 6 points. Right? It doesn't matter if there's a hog trap outside our practice field, right? All that stuff's irrelevant.
That is a great line, because there is a hog trap outside the practice field for Cisco. That is junior college. That's what that is, right? But comparison is the thief of joy. And Chuck Ramsey, watching Law Dog Sports, he said he can hear me. It's just a little low. Hopefully this is a little better. Thank you so much. By the way, today is July 31st. This is episode 10. And if you missed it, go on to YouTube, find Law Dog Sports. I was on there with Chuck Ramsey and Jeremy Schroeder, the oily bohunk that we have, the unholy triumvirate. We were together for a little bit today. Always great to be on there. Definitely go give it a watch and say you won't be disappointed. We talk a lot of great stuff. It was a fantastic show. He does a great job every Friday. They both do a great job every Friday at 11 o'clock. I highly recommend you watch it. Back to what Charlie said. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it's not a surprise Lane Kiffin says that, right? Because we talked, the Earn Philosophy is kind of a product that comes from Nick Saban's The Process philosophy. And Lane Kiffin is a product of Nick Saban's process philosophy as well. So when you compare yourself to others, it's not going to be a fair comparison. First off, you know all of your faults. You know all the things that can be used as what political terms called oppo research against you. The other people probably don't. So you know that. That means you're not going to make a fair comparison. Not to mention, when you take your time to look at someone else, what someone else has, you've now taken your eyes off of where you are and what you need to focus on, which is your best effort. Your best effort is not, if you're at work right now and you're looking across the hallway and you're trying to compare yourself to that person over there, you at this time are not giving your best effort onto your job. You're not doing what you need to do to be successful at your job. Don't worry about how successful they are. If they're more successful than you, that's fine. Work harder. Keep your eyes focused on what you're doing. And if they're not to worry about anyway. Or they're looking at you trying to get better. You've got to, the only way you're going to do it is to stack those victories, and how you stack those victories is your best effort. The right attitude. Negativity breeds negativity. Talk about it all the time. Positivity breeds positivity. If you're putting in your best effort, that's a positive thing. That helps your attitude. How do you respond? Right? Maybe the boss asked you to do something that you really weren't wanting to do. What's your response? Take a step back and breathe, or do you blurt out something that you probably shouldn't? Respond. And then don't quit. Things happen. Not everything's going to go right. You're going to make mistakes. We're all do. It's human. That's why you got to refocus. No excuses. No excuses. It happened. It's over. Move on. Earn this moment. Earn this moment of victory. And again, yesterday I was at Eagles Bluff Country Club in Bullard, Texas. And so my schedule, my daily kind of routine was thrown off a bit, just like it was last week when I went to Arlington for the Conference USA Media Day. The key is, before I would let that turn into a second day, and trust me, that thought is still there. I didn't do it. I don't have. No. Got to get back on there. Got to get back out there. Got to get that walk done. Got to get the reading done. You've got to get your studying done. You've got to get back up there and get back into what is making you successful. And my success is not judged off of viewers, although I love each and every one of you. It's not judged off how many people read my stuff, although I love each and every one of you that do. My success is judged at the end of the day on how am I? Did I have a day where I did the best I could to earn that victory? And if the answer is yes, then that's a victory. As someone who has a lot of suicidal tendencies, sometimes waking up the next morning is a victory. It just is. That's okay. You're allowed to celebrate those. You got to understand that is good. And so at the end of the day, if it was an unpleasant day, things didn't work well, it was a bad day, gather it. It happens. Tomorrow doesn't have to be that way. Examine what happened, where it went wrong, what can be fixed, if you control any of it that can be fixed, because sometimes you don't. And if it's out of your control, you just wake up the next morning and get going. You can't let life derail you. It will try nonstop. Life will try. Religion calls it the devil. I call it life. It's going to try to derail you. You cannot let that happen. Charlie Rizzio knows this when you're out at Cisco in the middle of nowhere, which, by the way, they said they have a Whataburger now 12 miles from Cisco. I can't remember which town he said it's in around there, but that's a big deal. That's big news in Cisco, Texas. A Whataburger within 12, because there really is not much in Cisco, Texas. And that helps me transition into my thoughts from the Southwest Conference Junior College Football Conference Media Day yesterday. A terrific event. First-class event put on. You would not know that's a junior college. And I want to start my thoughts with a congratulations and a big thank you to them. They have a new logo. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Substack right now, you can see the logo. It is fantastic. That is exactly what this conference needed. They really didn't have one. And Michael Landers said that Trinity Valley head coach Gerard Poteet was a big part of this. Thank you. Thank you. It looks fantastic. It is what this conference deserves. This is the best conference in junior college football. I tell people all the time, every year, the best football that I see week in and week out is the SWJCFC. It is the greatest collection of talent. These coaches do a fantastic job. But what I really took away from yesterday, and this I'm going to write about a little more, and it's going to post Monday morning on Substack, CoryHogueSports.substack.com. Junior college, the Southwest Junior College Football Conference, that's where the heart of college football is. So many times you hear people, say college sports has changed. It has. I spoke about this a little bit. You can hear some of this too on the Law Dog Sports Weekend Big Show on YouTube. College sports has changed. College football in particular has changed. It's not going back. The Big Ten, the Southeastern Conference, they're not going to play along by the same rules anymore. You're going to end up needing different rules for them than you have for the group of 6 and below. Accept it. Let's move on and let's make it the best we can. The days of I'm here to play because I'm just trying to get better, get an education, and better my life might not be at the Power 4. Might not even be sometimes at the group of 6. But it's a JUCO. Every single coach, to a man yesterday, knows their job is more than wins and losses. Yes, that's important. Of course, it is. But their job is to get those players a 4-year degree. Whether you're at Tyler or you're at New Mexico Military Institute or you're up in Snow College, which, by the way, the addition of Snow College makes this conference even better. The winner of this conference should be a national semifinalist every year. They're a top 4 team. The end, period. Do not come at me right now with anything else. Guaranteed. The winner of this conference should be top 4 in the country in JCAA and in the semifinals. Write it in. That would be like the champion of the Southeastern Conference not getting in the college football playoff. It's not happening. It's not happening. The champion of this Southwest Junior College Football Conference must be in the national semifinals. End of story right now. Until they prove otherwise. And this conference is so deep, so good all the way through. It is really tough, really impressive. But these coaches, while national semifinals is a great thing to be, Tyler trying to repeat as champion, it's a great place to be. Kilgore, Willie Gooden trying to take that place. That's not the whole mission. Their mission is those guys that they put on the 4-year schools. That not just the Power 4, and trust me, their talent litters Power 4 rosters. They also group of 6 rosters. They also send people to D2s. Those are scholarships. That's helping these guys. That's helping them get better. They're in JUCO for a reason. And often the reason can be grades. Maybe they got in trouble. This is a chance. And these leaders of these football programs are showing these young men the way, and some of them won't take to it. I get it. That's how it is. You can't make everybody drink the water. But there will be those that do, and you celebrate those, and they send hundreds of players on to 4-year schools every year. And that's how you know this is a successful conference. That's how you know these coaches are successful. And a lot of these coaches in the conference have been there for years. Years. They understand. And it's not just about the players getting to a 4-year. As some of the coaches talked yesterday, it's about those assistant coaches moving up too. These guys that are the head coaches, if you're there 8, 9, 10 years, you're probably not worried about trying to go up to another conference big time. You're not worried about it. But all these other people around you, you want to, because you take pride in that. And that's where the heart of college football is. That's the heart that many people decry is missing. It's not missing. It's still here. It's just not in the FBS. You got to come down here and find it. And you will find it in JUCO. You will find it in Division III, where they still do not have athletic scholarships. You'll find it in D2. You'll find it in FCS. There's not a ton of NIL money that's really changing a lot of things in the FCS. There's a little more, but compared to what you're getting in the Group of Six or the FBS, it's called lunch money. It's really all you get. And when I talk to coaches in non-FBS, they say that. It's lunch money. This is the heart. And to be around that yesterday, to be around those head coaches, those men, those leaders, the fantastic people, everyone around there, getting to see Jack Stallard and Hicks and all of the guys who are just incredible writers, meeting Chris Craddock at Kilgore. It just affirmed that where I am right now is where I need to be. It's not about anything else. I felt a connection with, because those head coaches, they're doing what they need to do. They are where they need to be. And so am I. So we're here. We're in this together. It was a fantastic media day. Huge thank you to everyone involved. There will be content coming out about that on Monday. I'll tell you, my schedule the last few days has been nuts. Absolutely crazy. Wednesday, the last show we had was my daughter's birthday. It was her 25th birthday. In January, she'll turn 26, even though her birthday's in July. I don't do math that way, just so you know. And so we had a dinner Wednesday night, left the dinner 8 o'clock-ish, traveled to Tyler, got a little sleep, woke up, packed, went to Bullard, was at the media day, left the media day 12:31-ish, drove home. As soon as I got home, I had about an hour, unpack, say hello to the family, get ready for the March to the Pod podcast last night. If you missed it, you want to go look at it. March to the Pod. Remember, it's the number 2, marchtothepod.substack.com. Bauer Stadium. Sam Houston has a new press box. Bauer Stadium finally has a new press box. It is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is not perfect. And if you want to know why it's not perfect, go to the Substack. You can listen to the podcast yesterday and find out why, or you can wait for me to get the story up on where some things are kind of missing a little bit in the new press box. So I had that podcast last night, and I had that posted, and at that point, I was exhausted. Woke up this morning, got back into my routine, hopped on with Chuck and Jeremy on the Weekend Big Show, and now here I am. I wouldn't give it up. This is. Remember, we talked a couple weeks ago about embracing the mundane. This is the mundane, but you gotta love the mundane, and I do. That's why I'm here. Moving on to the other topic of this show, it is time for the final conference predictions of 2026. We're at the United Athletic Conference football predictions for this year. We're going to go in reverse order. And we are starting with the newest team in the FCS and UAC, the team moving up from Division II, the University of West Florida. That's right. The team that lost to now East Texas A&M was then Texas A&M Commerce in the 2017 National Championship game in Kansas City, is now FCS and part of the United Athletic Conference, which is a combination of the WAC and the old Atlantic Sun, which they now, it's like the unison over both of them. They've got a cooperation going. West Florida comes in, and look, they bring an impressive Division II resume. And they're a program accustomed to competing for championships. This is the FCS level. This isn't coming in, starting a program at D2, which they did, and they were quickly successful. I have no doubt this program can become successful quickly at the FCS level, just not in 2026. It is too hard to overcome during that transition, trying to get those scholarships, the depth needed to compete in this conference. This UAC and South Wayne Conference, it is hard to compete nowadays. It is not easy at all. And this transition is difficult. Adding scholarships, money, recruiting, and also you're having to recruit kids and tell them that they're not going to play in the playoffs for a few years. Good luck. Ask Todd Whitten over at Tarleton what that was like. The fact they still won games that had a winning record was impressive. Got to feel the same way for West Florida right now. They're going to have to build. They got to build depth. They got to build stronger on the line. They're going to need so much more on the offensive and defensive line. And they are facing a conference schedule that will test you. And attrition is a real factor in the United Athletic Conference. West Florida should eventually become competitive. I really believe they will. But their first season is going to have more struggles than victories, in my opinion. The big question I have for them is, can they handle that increased depth and physicality required at the FCS level to be competitive and maybe pull off a few wins? Maybe if they finish with a winning record this year, that's an A+ year for West Florida. Number 7, you want to ask a team what it's like to transition from D2 to FCS? Ask number 7, West Georgia. They were a great story last season. 8-3 overall, 5-3 in conference play. Second year at the FCS level, but repeating that success is always going to be difficult. New coaching staff, replacing a lot of the linemen responsible for that breakthrough last year. They rebuilt the roster through the portal. Several additions now there. Some of those additions are familiar with the new staff and the system. That should help. But that's a lot of uncertainty around West Georgia. They could improve throughout this season. They will definitely be a lot better at the end than they are at the beginning. But those early growing pains should be expected. So the question for West Georgia becomes, can they quickly establish the chemistry with the new staff and the rebuilt roster to be competitive, not just at the bottom or the middle, but with the top of the conference? That's going to be hard to do. Number 6, North Alabama. They were 2-10 last year. They were a lot more competitive than that. A lot of close games that they did not find a way to get to win. They just couldn't finish drives consistently. They couldn't avoid the costly mistakes. They couldn't make that decisive play in the fourth quarter that determines the win from the loss. There are reasons to believe North Alabama will be better. The offense has got some continuity. The defense is returning several contributors. The program added needed help across the roster. The opening of a new on-campus stadium will provide additional energy as well. But the question is, can North Alabama turn competitive performances into conference wins? Can they finish the drives, avoid the mistakes, and make those plays that determine the difference between the wins and the losses in the close games? Number 5, and boy, this is where this conference really picks up in the difficulty level. Eastern Kentucky, they were 5-7 last year. They've got a lot of experience returning throughout the offense. The continuity will allow the Colonels to move the football a lot more consistently, especially if they improve their efficiency and reduce their turnovers, which is you should expect they will. The larger concern is a defense that could feature significant turnover throughout the lineup. They added multiple transfers to address a lot of their losses, but relying on so many new contributors creates a lot of uncertainty. They're going to be competitive, no doubt about it. But defensive inconsistency could prevent them from being a serious contender, which that's the question. Can they rebuild that defense quickly enough to take advantage of an experienced offense and not put that offense in a situation where they feel they have to score a touchdown on every drive. If you put that kind of pressure on the offense, Eastern Kentucky will not be successful this year. Number 4 in the UAC, I have Central Arkansas. They're positioned to make one of the conference's biggest improvements after finishing 3-9 last season. They've got experience at receiver, experience on the offensive line, and a lot of the defense. They have a strong foundation this year that more than they had a year ago. Primary question for them comes in the offensive backfield. UCA will need new contributors to settle the quarterback and running back positions. Cannot afford to have another season filled with offensive inconsistency. Their schedule's rough. The Bears are visiting Abilene Christian. They're visiting Tarleton in consecutive weeks. They still have enough talent to return to the upper half of the league. The question for Central Arkansas, can they find enough stability in the backfield to complete a turnaround? Number 3, Austin Peay, the Governors. They finished 4-4 last year in the UAC. They enter 2026 with a lot of experience returning, and they have the ability to challenge for the conference championship. A lot of pieces come back, especially on offense, and the defense has experience returning at each level. They've got a nice schedule. Tarleton and Abilene Christian, they're traveling to Clarksville. That gives the Governors a chance to shape the conference race, and at home, they could be a surprise team. Definitely one that could finish above the number 3 here. But they have to prove that their returning experience can produce more consistent results. 4-4 is just not consistent enough. They were competitive last season, but they didn't perform like a championship caliber team often enough. They have the talent. Question is, can they turn the experience and the talent into those consistent championship level performances? And number 2, and I am not taking the easy way out, the UAC on their media poll or coaches poll or whatever preseason poll they released, put a tie at the top. That's the easy way out. You got to pick one. And I'm going to say number 2, Tarleton State. Historic season last year. Again, every year, Todd Whitten is a historic season. Every year. That man knows how to coach football. They were 12-2 last year. They shared the conference title. They have established themselves as legitimate national contenders, and they continue to build one of the deepest rosters, not just in the conference, but in the country. But this isn't the same team that powered through last season. They're going to need a new quarterback. They got to rebuild that offensive line that was so good last year. They had to develop some new contributors along the defensive front. They have some questions. Look, this staff has consistently and successfully managed roster turnover. And so I believe the Texans remain talented enough. I believe they have all the pieces needed to win the conference this year. But they're going to have to come together when these most important conference games arrive. They have earned the benefit of the doubt, which puts them number 2 ahead of Austin Peay. But can they beat Abilene Christian? They're going to have to prove it to me. They're going to have to prove it to me. You're going to have to beat Abilene Christian. And I believe they're at home against ACU this year. You can't let that one slip away. The biggest question, though, for Tarleton is, can they rebuild along that offensive and defensive line quickly enough to repeat? That's where I'm most concerned about the Texans, is on that offensive line specifically and defensive line as well. Number 1, the team I have winning the United Athletic Conference in 2026 is the Wildcats of Abilene Christian. They earned the automatic playoff bid last year after sharing the conference championship for the second straight year. They shared it with Tarleton last year. They were outright winners the year before. They have experience, they have depth, and they have confidence, and they have a heck of a coaching staff led by Keith Patterson, who knows last year he doesn't even look at last year's. He probably might not be able to tell you how many wins they had. He can tell you. He knows. You're looking at today. They got what they need to finish alone at the top of the standings. Doesn't mean they don't have questions. Important positions to replace. Who's quarterback? Stone Earl's gone. Maverick McIver's not here. Who's the quarterback? There's an intriguing freshman, Joe Castles. Great, but he's a freshman. Hey, you got a transfer from UT Permian Basin, Cannon Gibson. Is he the guy? There's a lot of other guys in there. They have a really talented room. The question I have for them right now is who's going to take over the reins of that offense? They're going to need someone to step up and be that leader. That's what they're going to need. Who's that going to be? That's what they got to find out in camp. And you've got to find it out before you start the season because they open the season with Lamar. You open the season with a de facto playoff game against another team that made the playoffs last year and likely going to be there again this year challenging for it. But here's the thing. ACU's built enough roster depth to absorb those losses without a significant step backwards, in my opinion. They understand what it takes to win those close conference games and survive the championship race. That matters. When you've got a top 3 teams in this conference separated by such narrow margins, that matters. Tarleton may have the highest ceiling. Austin Peay may have the most favorable home schedule. But Abilene Christian enters with the pedigree, the continuity, the proven success. And I think enough roster stability that they will be at the top. The question is, can they successfully replace those lost pieces, particularly at quarterback, and win the United Athletic Conference Championship outright? It will be no easy task. Definitely not. It will be fun to watch. I can't wait. And that will do it for today's show, today's episode of the Cory Hogue Sports Show. Thank you so much. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Substack, remember, find me social media at Cory Hogue Sports, CORYHOGUE Sports. Find my Substack, CoryHogueSports.substack.com. Don't forget marchtothepod.substack.com. Give us a look over there. Give us a listen if you want to know some things about Sam Houston. Really appreciate it. Let me check my calendar and see real quick. We're heading into a whole new month. We'll be back on Monday, August the 3rd. This calendar is changing. Today is the last day of no football in a month until the new year, till February. Even later if you count the NFL. We've made it. Making it through the dog days of summer. So keep it tuned to my Substack because you're going to see a lot of stuff coming here over the next few weeks. I'm going to do 5 questions for teams in each conference. We're going to start going through that series. But Monday, recap of the Junior College Football Conference. Check that first. We'll be back Monday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Stay blessed.
Clear, sharp and bold, covering every team, every season, every story worth being told. The Cory Hogue Sports Show, the Cory Hogue Sports Show. Big stories and real conversations bring the truth